Hey everyone, welcome to this video of homework 1-0. The title is Review Using Desmos, and it's operations, integers, and fractions. So make sure that you first write your name, day, and period on the top of the page. Name, day, and period. And in this homework, we will be finishing, writing and finishing 10 problems, 1 through 10 here, that we'll be using Desmos. We're gonna solve these 10 problems using the app called Desmos, and it is very easy to use. You could use it in a classroom and at home for your homework. Now there are two apps, and I'm gonna show it to you right now. So first, you need to download two apps. The first one is called Desmos Test Mode. This is in the blue icon, and we'll be using that for our class whenever we do the test. So you don't have a calculator, but you have like a smartphone or cell phone, you use that as your calculator, and it's to avoid you to go to other apps and just use that as your only app during the test time. You cannot go to any other places. That's the good thing about Desmos Test Mode. Now the other one is a regular Desmos app, and this you could go in and out of the app, and you could graph a line, you could calculate a lot of things. So this is very useful instead of your graphing or scientific calculator. So I want you to pause this video, pause to stop, and I want you to go to the App Store and download these two apps first before you continue this video. Okay, so go ahead and pause it first. And after you finish downloading these two apps for our homework today, you're going to use the regular Desmos, which is in the green icon. So I want you to tap on that, and once you did that, you will see there is a graphing calculator. There's a grid on the top, a XY plane on the top, and there's some space, right, kind of like a calculator for you. It's like a display screen, and then at the end, at the bottom, you see some variables, parentheses, square roots, pi, 0 through 9, add, subtract, multiply, divide, and that's all you need, in an equal sign. Okay, so we're going to just use this part of the program or the app today to answer the 10 problems on the homework. Okay, so let's take a look at the first problem. The first problem says adding integer. Adding integer. Well, just as a review before we're going into this course, we're going to give you some example. Example 1, which you do not have to write down on your homework. I'm just going to show you how to type in negative numbers into the Desmos calculator. Let's say you have a problem that says -7 plus 2. Okay, well, in case you forgot what is -7 plus 2, right? Well, -7 means that you owe $7. 2 means you have $2. Well, if you have $2, right, and you spend $7, do you owe money, or do you still have some money? Right, you should owe money, right? If you have $2, you don't have enough money to spend something that costs $7. So you owe someone $5. You subtract them, and we're going to use negative sign to indicate that we owe somebody $5. Okay, so to do that, if you want to use a calculator instead, so to do -7 plus 2, right, you're going to first type in -7 by typing the subtract sign, -7, and then plus 2 like this, and then you see that the answer -5 pops up in the screen, so which is same as the answer that we got. So -5 and -5. Okay, so on your homework problem number 1, I want you to try the following. So I want you to try what is -3 plus -7. Okay, -3 plus -7. So if you owe someone $3 and you owe another person $7, do you still have money, or do you owe someone's money? And if you owe someone's money, how much do you owe? Okay, so I want you to write down the answer. Your answer should be a negative, by the way. Negative something. So on your calculator, you press -3. Oh, I pressed it wrong. Should be -3. So in case you press everything wrong, then just press the cancel sign or the X sign, so that way it'll reset everything again. So put -3 plus -7. And then the answer should pop up right there, right? So that's your answer, which is -10. If you owe someone $3, you owe someone $7, that means you owe a total of $10. So you put negative 10 for your final answer for problem number 1. Okay, negative 10. Well, next, besides adding and subtracting, we also have to know how to multiply. So in example 2, I'm going to show you how to multiply two numbers. Let's say we have negative 6 times negative 3. Okay, negative 6 times negative 3. Well, on your calculator, all you have to do is click the X button, and you press negative 6, and then times negative 3, like this. Okay, and then from there, the answer pops up. It becomes positive 18 right there. So you would put 18, right? Remember back in last year that negative times a negative is a positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. Well, for problem number 2, I want you to write down the following. What is negative 12 multiplied by positive 5? Negative 12 multiplied by positive 5. Okay, and I want you to type it in. So in other words, you put negative 12 times positive 5, and then I want you to write your answer over there, please. Is it a positive answer or is it a negative answer? Now, if you do not have a calculator, just for review, you could just do 12 times 5 like this. Like 2 times 5 is 10, right? And then 1 times 5 is 5 plus 1, and you get 6. Okay, so I want you to write, is it going to be a positive 60 or is it going to be negative 60? I want you to use your calculator to double check. Well, next we're going to problem number 3. Now, problem number 3 says dividing integers. So I'll give you example 3. Okay, if you were to divide negative 27 divided by 3 like this, well, on your calculator, you would do, you would first press negative 27, and then you press the division sign, which is the same as the fraction. When you press the division sign, you see a fraction, and then you press 3. And then the answer should pop up, negative 9. So you write negative 9 for your final answer. Okay, let's have you try the next one. So for problem number 3, could you divide 68 by 4? So what is 68 divided by 4? Could you do that? Okay. If you want to do the long way, you could put a division sign, put 68 inside the division sign, and then 4 outside the division sign. And then you do 4 goes into 6 one time, so 4 times 1 is 4. Well, 6 minus 4 is 2. You bring down the 8. And then 4 goes into 28 how many times? Right, so you're going to answer that yourself, and then you put it on the answer box for problem number 3. Okay. Well, the next one is called adding fractions. So I'm going to cover up some problems up there so that you could see clearly. So adding fractions. Well, I'm going to teach you how to add fractions, right? So you're going to add 1/2 with 4/5 or 4/5. 1/2 plus 4/5. Well, back in the days, you had to find common denominator to actually solve it, right? So example 4, if you were to add these two fractions, right, back in the days, you have to find least common denominator, which is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. So for 1/2, you multiply the top and bottom by 5. And then for 4/5, you multiply top and bottom by 2, right? And then you multiply the fraction across. So you do 5/10 plus 8/10. And then that's your answer. Well, if you have a calculator, you do not have to do all that work. All you have to do is, on your calculator, you clear the screen, you put 1/2. So you do 1 divided by 2, right? So that's 1/2. Then you tap on the right and you put plus, and then you put 4/5. And then the answer comes out to be a decimal. And I want you to put this decimal on the decimal part of the answer, 1.3, like this. Okay. Now, in case if I were to ask you to find what is the fraction answer, right, you're gonna see that there is a circle, a blue circle containing a fraction, like a box over a box there. All you have to do is click on it, boom, like this, and you see that your answer, it's in fractions now. What is this fraction here? It is 13 over 10. So you're gonna put 13 over 10 as the fraction. I want you to go back here. Isn't 5 over 10 plus 8 over 10, right? If you add these two fractions, don't you keep the 10 at the bottom? And then you add 5 and 8, and you still get 13 over 10. So aren't these two answers the same? Doesn't matter how I do it, right? But of course, it's easier to do it with Desmos. What next is multiplying fractions, number 5. So I want you to multiply these two numbers. So could you multiply 2 over 5 by 5 over 3. 2/5 times 5/3. Could you multiply those two numbers together? Okay. Well, how would you do that on your calculator? Well, you're going to put 2 over 5. So 2 over 5, like this. You tap on the right, and you find a multiply sign, and then you put 5/3. Like this, and then boom, the answer pops up. But could you give me 2 decimal places when you write your answer? I don't want you to write all the decimal. Just put 2 numbers, 1, 2 after the decimal point. So it's going to be 0.6. Is it 0.66 or 0.67? That's right, so it should round up. Since the third digit is more than 5, you round it up, it's going to be 0.67. So I want you to take a look at the decimal again. So since it's 0.666, a lot of sixes, you round to 0.67, okay? And I want you to press this to give me a fraction answer. Could you press this button here? And then after that, this should come up as a fraction, and I want you to put the fraction answer at the bottom. Okay, I'm not going to show you the answer. I want you to do it by yourself. Next, we're going to do squares. So square means raised to the second power. So this is example 6. Well, I'll give you an example. If you were to find what is 4 squared, what is 4 to the second power equal to, right? This just means 4 times 4. And you know what's 4 times 4, right? So 4 multiplied by 4, you get 16. Well, an easier way to do it is on your calculator, right? You first cancel everything. You press 4. Oh, that was wrong. You press 4, and then you see there's a square with a little letter A, right? So you press that. So 4 squared, and the answer pops up as 16. So 4 squared is 16, which is the same thing that we got. Well, on your homework problem number 6, could you find me, instead of 4, could you find me what's 15 square? 15 square. 15 square means 15 times 15. And I want you to write your answer here. What is 15 squares equal to? Okay. Next is cube. Cube means raised to the third power. So for example, if I were to ask you to find what is 5 cubed, or 5 to the third power, right? That means 5 times 5 times 5. Well, that's a little bit difficult to multiply, so what you would do is you're going to use a calculator, right? You could either put 5 times 5 times 5 like this, and you'll get your answer. Or you can just press 5, and then you see there's a button that says A to the B power. I want you to press that. So 5 to D, and you see this little line becomes smaller, and you press 3. Okay, so 5 to the third power is 125. So I put 125 as our answer. Well, on your homework, well, could you find me the following? Could you find me what's 4 to the third power equals to? So 4 to the third power means 4 times 4 times 4. Could you find that for me? Okay. Well, next is square root. Square root is the opposite of square. So I'll give you an example. Well, in example 8, if I were to find out what is square root of 25, right? That means I have to find a number, multiply by itself twice to get 25. So you have to find out, what times what is 25? So you would do, you see this little square root button, right? So you're going to press that, and then the square root sign appears, and then you put 25. So square root of 25 is 5. And you're going to put it there because we know that 5 times 5 is 25. Again, 5 times 5 is 25. Well, on your homework paper, could you find me the following? What is square root of 100? Square root of 100. Okay, so you would press square root of and then type in 100 and then see what you come up with. Put your answer over there, please. Well, next is, we're almost done, is absolute value. So how would you find absolute value? Let me give you an example. Example 9. Well, back in the days, you learned that, well, what is absolute value of negative 10? Well, absolute value means I just want the positive part of a number. So the absolute value of negative 10 means I want to find out how far away is the number negative 10 away from 0 on the number line. So this means, let me just draw a picture, right? So I know that if 0 is in the middle and negative 10 is here, well, how much space, how many spaces are there between 0 and negative 10? Well, the answer is 10 units. Because that's how far these two numbers are. So put positive 10, right? The absolute value of any number is always positive. Now, in case if you forgot, we could always use our calculator. So you see this little absolute value sign right there with an A. So you're going to press that first, and you put negative 10. And then press it again to close the absolute value sign. You see that the answer is positive 10 as well. Positive 10. Okay, let's have you try the next one. So could you try absolute value of negative 5 plus 3? What is absolute value of negative 5 plus 3? So on your calculator, you will press absolute value first, and then negative 5, close absolute value, and then plus 3. And I want you to write your answer over there. Okay. Well, the last one is order of operations. Order of operations was please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which we have learned a while ago. So let's review that. Example 10. If I were to ask you to multiply, well, to simplify this, 2 to the third power plus 5 times 4. Well, you have to know what is PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P means parentheses, E means exponent, M means multiply, D means divide, A means addition, S means subtraction. So you look at these expressions and you see that there is an exponent first. So you're going to simplify what is 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 to the third power. So on your calculator, you're going to press 2 to the third power, like this. So 2 to the third power is 8. So we're going to put 8 in the middle, right here. 8 plus 5 times 4. Now you're left with addition and multiplication. So according to PEMDAS, you're going to multiply first. So you do 5 times 4, which is 20. And then you add 8 and 20 together to get your final answer. Well, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to memorize all that if you have a decimal. So this is what you do. You're going to cancel that. You're going to press 2 to the third power, like this. And then you put a plus sign, and you do 5 times 4. So 5 times 4. And boom, that is your answer. So you're going to record that here. Well, let me first write the problem. 2 to the third plus 5 times 4. And then you write your answer there. And then after that, you're done with your assignment. Make sure that your name, day, period is on top of the page. And you're going to take 2 pictures to submit this assignment. One is the paper itself, like this. Okay, you're gonna take a picture like this, and then another picture would be your paper with a selfie. So your face is in the picture, and I'll show you on the screen. And then that's it. After that, you submit those 2 pictures to the Canvas to get full credit. Okay? So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have a nice day. Thank you so much.